Hey everyone, it's Mr. Wild194. I hope you're doing well today. I have another book review here that I've been trying to get out all week long. Just haven't been able to do it. I've been so sick. My eyes have been puffy, been sneezing nonstop. Today's a little bit not as bad with my allergies and stuff. But I have a review here for one book that I read this week that I really, really love, just as much as I love the first two volumes, and that is Die Dark, Volume 3 from Q Hayashida. Written and drawn by her. Of course, the creator of Dorohedoro, which I've never watched, never checked out. I love this cover, by the way, with the red Shimada Death and the yellow and the purple spine, all of it. It looks so nice. Once again, this is a manga, about 200 pages, about 6 chapters, 5 chapters, something like that, and a bonus story at the end that's about, less than 10 pages. This was about 210 pages, and I had a blast with it, just like I have with the previous 2 volumes. I cannot see myself not buying the rest of these volumes for my collection. Of course, I'm borrowing them right now. Matter of fact, when I finish this video up, I'm going to go out to a library in my local area and pick up volumes 4, 5, and 6. I think those are the only ones here in the US that are available. But I need to get them because I'm addicted to this world, these characters, the storytelling. Q Hayashida is one of the most underrated writers that I've ever seen in my life for manga, for comics, anything. Die Dark is a masterpiece. Now, once again, I have to kind of spoil a little bit of the events of the end of Volume 2 to really explain where we're at the beginning of this book. So if you haven't read Volume 2, please check it out, but just be aware there's going to be some mild spoilers here for that book. Now, Die Dark Volume 3 picks up with Zaha Sanko, our main character here, who was just possessed at the end of Volume 2 by that creepy floating head that Shimada Death seems to identify as Hajime Damadaru. I don't know how to say that name. But this thing is creepy. It's like a floating head from Dead Space. It kind of looks around. I think it's influenced by something like Dead Space, basically. This little sci-fi horror world. And that thing possessed Zaha Sanko. We don't really know how it has these abilities or how it hasn't died. We don't really know what's up with that, even though we got a small snippet of that thing or that person's backstory in that previous volume, which was very interesting. Hajime Damadaru, however you say it, Damamaru, whatever his name is. I'm not going to be able to say his name. I'm American, very American. I'm not going to be able to say his name unless I really read it over and over and over again. Anyway, he seems like somebody who's going to be important as the series goes along. He's involved in this story quite a bit, despite what Shimada Death did to him at the end of the previous volume. But now Zaha Sanko is awake, and a bunch of guards of that area that he was killing a bunch of randos happened when he was possessed, and they take him captive to try to steal his bones. They're kind of like a cult, basically, in space, and they take Zaha Sanko captive after they beat the hell out of him, and they are trying to figure out how to get to his bones and his body. And when I say that, I mean we find out a little bit more about Zaha Sanko and his magical bones and how difficult it is to get to those bones inside of him. I thought that was fascinating. That was not only, when you talk about writing, you talk about putting characters through things, there always has to be some kind of way to make them stumble. This series has a great way of reversing that and having that happen to the bad guys, or whoever is a party out there, or a cult in this case, who want to take Zaha Sanko's bones because they're magical, they grant wishes, whatever. He always seems to have a way that he unintentionally, whether he knows it's a big deal or not, whether we know it's a big deal or not, put a stumbling block in front of those people who want to hurt him and take his bones. And I found that fascinating. These volumes of this series have a great way of not really advancing any kind of plot or anything like that, but developing the characters very slowly. If you take all 3 of the volumes we've read back to back, if you've read them with me, whatever, 600 pages, we really haven't done much story-wise, but the world building, these characters, all of that stuff that I usually don't care as much about as a plot, really matter here. It really make this way more fun and way more engaging than usual. Volume 3 might be my favorite of all 3 of the volumes. This was a fantastic volume, and it may be, I might have not said this yet, but it might very well be the bloodiest of the 3 volumes, which is kind of wild to me. Now that Zaha Sanko has been taken captive, Shimada Death, is it Shimada? No, Shimada Death. I'm having a really hard time with some of these names. I'm just going to call her Death from now on. Death picks up Avakian and turns him into a Paggy, and she goes into a disguise to go find Zaha with Avakian, which I thought was cool. And Moha's kind of just on the spaceship doing his own thing most of this book, which was, cool. I like Moha a whole lot. I wish he was in this volume more, but it is what it is. But like I said, as they're going to try to rescue Zaha, that's kind of accomplished fairly early on, and then a lot of after that point. You don't get a whole lot of flashback stuff in this volume like you did in the previous two, which kind of surprised me. But you do have a lot of focus on Hajime, which was interesting. I really think that character is going to be cool and has the potential to be like the Yamcha of this series, if you will. I really, really love this. Like I said, great read so far. Here's a sample of the art in case you'd like to see it. I'm trying to make sure I don't pick up a bloody picture or a very sexual picture because this series, just like most manga, has some sexual moments in it. This was great. I love this. I thought this was such a blast like usual. If you have not read Die Dark, you are missing out. There's so much here with the world and the characters, like I said. I fucking love it. I could not see myself not reading every volume that ever comes out for this, nor buying every single volume. Like I said, I've been reading them, sampling them from the library to see if they stayed pretty good, and they have, because Die Dark Volume 3, in my personal opinion, from Q Hayashida, is going to get a 5 out of 5 star rating from me. This was phenomenal. I loved it deeply. I thought it was just as good as the previous two, like I said, if not possibly better than the previous two. Great read, man. Definitely a huge recommendation for me if you haven't read these before. Again, Q Hayashida, she is a phenomenal artist and writer in the most underrated of ways that I could ever say. Which is a shame. She deserves way more credit because of what I saw in here and in the previous two books. I have to tell you, as much as I love Zaha Senko, who's probably my favorite character, I'm really rubbing off on Shimada Death. I really think she fucking rules. She's a badass, dude. Great book. Great characters, great world, and all of that, as I've said. Anyway, have you read Die Dark Volume 3? What did you think about it? I'd love to hear all of your thoughts and comments about it down in the comment section down below. Let me know everything you think about this awesome series, this awesome read. Definitely a big recommendation from me, yours truly. So thank you all for watching, guys. God bless you all. Catch you later, and goodbye.